It's a really busy time right now at the Olympic venues in Lake Placid. Ski jumpers who wrapped up their season last weekend here are sticking around to train for the Winter Games in Italy. And the bobsled and luge track is humming as those athletes get in shape for the Olympics starting next month. One team, the Jamaican bobsledders, are regulars in Lake Placid. And this year, they're hoping to break onto the medals podium. We meet the team on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Clarkson University, offering over 95 programs of study with campuses in the Hudson Valley, Central, and Northern New York. More at clarkson.edu.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Friday, January 16th. First up, environmentalists say they're skeptical of some of Governor Kathy Hochul's policy proposals for 2026. In her annual State of the State address, the governor announced a plan to build new nuclear reactors in the state, generating 5 gigawatts of power. The state currently produces 3.4 gigawatts of nuclear power, about a fifth of its electricity. The proposed expansion is getting a tepid reception from some environmental experts, who say the power source is both costly and lengthy to construct. Joseph Rome is a senior researcher at Penn State University.
New nuclear in the state would actually raise rates, and there's no possible way of saying that new nuclear is consistent with an affordability agenda. That is magical thinking.
Experts say a single reactor can cost more than $10 billion and over a decade to build. Rome also noted the nuclear industry is still trying to resolve the issue of radioactive waste disposal. Both St. Lawrence and Jefferson counties here in the North Country have expressed formal interest in hosting a new nuclear plant. They're on the state's short list of 8 willing communities. Environmentalists have also raised the alarm about the governor's plan to, quote, eliminate red tape by limiting environmental reviews for some housing and development projects. Liz Moran is the New York policy advocate for Earth Justice, an environmental law organization.
We need more housing. There's no question about that. But the idea of environmental regulations and community input being something that runs counter to economic development is simply a myth.
The environmental review process is intended to protect animal habitats, water, and air quality, but Hochul says they can delay housing projects by an average of 2 years. Today we say a sad goodbye to the woman behind a familiar voice for longtime NCPR listeners. Connie Meng, NCPR announcer and theater critic for 16 years, died yesterday at her home in Canton. She was 86 years old. Connie grew up in Canton and graduated from St. Lawrence University in 1961. She moved to New York City and enjoyed a successful theater career there. She appeared on Broadway in Foxy with Burt Lahr. She also shared the stage with such famous actors as Vivian Vance and Olympia Dukakis. She was a rehearsal pianist for the Rockettes. In the late 1960s, Connie was the dirty-faced girl in print and TV ads for Purolator oil filters.
You paid a lot of money for that car of yours, and here's the best way to protect your car's engine. A new Purolator oil filter. It stops dirt as small as 39 millionths of an inch.
Connie wrote over 500 theater reviews for North Country Public Radio, driving from Ottawa to Westport, Saranac Lake to Old Forge, to showcase regional plays and musicals, and to boost the profile of theater in the North Country. She retired from NCPR in 2016. She was a beloved staff member who brought incredible energy, laughs, and a warm heart to her work. We'll really miss her. Few bobsled teams have a history like the Jamaicans, who have been coming to the Adirondacks for nearly 4 decades. The team is back in Lake Placid this winter, training for the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy. It still has to qualify for the Games, but recent top finishes at international races are inching the Jamaican team ever closer toward its first ever Winter Olympic medal. Last February, David Escobar met up with the newest generation of Jamaican bobsledders as they prepare for race day. He brought us this story.
Before their first Olympic race in 1988, the Jamaican bobsled team had trained for just 6 months. Part of that training happened at Mount Van Hoevenberg, home to a sliding track renovated for the 1980 games. But there was a problem. Team members had nowhere to practice the push start for their four-man sled.
The only thing I could come up with, I borrowed a buddy's truck and we took our four-man down to the toboggan chute on the ice there and we were pushing on the lake.
That's Pat Brown, a former Olympic bobsledder who coached the original Jamaican team in the late 80s. They became fan favorites at the Calgary Olympics and later inspired the Disney film Cool Runnings.
Feel the rhythm! Feel the ride! Get on up! It's bobsled time! Cool Runnings!
The movie is mostly fictional but contains some truth. Back then, the Jamaican bobsled team trained with makeshift sleds held together with duct tape and sold t-shirts to cover expenses. Today's team looks a lot different. Since arriving in January, they've been digging their cleats into a state-of-the-art ice house at Mount Van Hoevenberg. Audra Segri watches team members dressed in sleek black bodysuits push a sled along an icy track. She was the brakewoman for Jamaica's first women's Olympic bobsled team and became the team's manager in 2024.
I would say I like where the program is heading. And granted, we have a lot to work on, but it's good to say we have a start.
Segri and Brown say the goal is for Jamaican bobsled to earn its first Olympic medal within the next 10 years. Getting there requires experience and qualification points at races around the world.
Sled in from start one. This is Shane Pitter and Tyreek Buckner of Team Jamaica. They need a downtime.
Tyreek Buckner is part of the two-man sled competing at the North American Cup in Lake Placid. Like many of his teammates, he didn't grow up bobsledding. He played football before switching to the sport 2 years ago. The transition hasn't been easy.
It's something that looks easy when you watch it on film, but when it comes on to doing it, it takes a lot of repetition, a lot of days of work.
Like any Olympic-level athlete, bobsledders maintain an intense fitness and dietary regimen. But training at an elite level requires specific conditions for bobsledders, things the Jamaican team can't access at home. So Buckner says every minute in Lake Placid is valuable.
We don't have the resources and the ability to train as well as other teams like the US, like Canada, that have the access to the snow and the ice, the colder temperatures, the equipment. But whatever we have, whatever time we get, we make a lot of use of it and we still stay competitive.
The Jamaican team is starting to see promising results, thanks in part to extra support. The North Country Sports Council arranged housing for the team in Saranac Lake. The organization also secured sponsors whose corporate logos are stamped all over the team's sleds. Between races, the team tunes up those sleds in a workshop, making sure they're ready to race. 17-year-old Adonna Johnson glides sandpaper over the runners of her sled to smooth out dents in the metal. She's the youngest member of the team, and she sees her youth as an advantage for the program's future.
It's really good because this is a sport where you can stay in it for a while before you have to retire. So I'm really grateful that I can start at such a young age to progress and just improve overall. Yeah.
Every workout, push training, and race inches the Jamaican team closer to earning its first medal in bobsled. And sled pilot Shane Pitter says they're aiming high.
We want to do well in the Olympics so they could even build another Cool Runnings too. We are the dream team now.
Whether or not they win a medal in the next decade, the Jamaican bobsled team is set out to prove something else, that a tropical nation can compete and win against the sport's biggest powerhouses. David Escobar, North Country Public Radio in Lake Placid.
That story first aired last February. Good luck to the Jamaican team in qualifying for Italy. Really excited to watch them on TV if they get there. We have more news all the time and through the weekend on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by I Am Snow Angel of Lake Placid and Mark Corey of Watertown. Have a super weekend. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.